Greetings all and blessings upon you. My name is Bailey, and welcome to another episode of Bailey's Buddhism. As we move into this new year, the start of 2022 felt like a good time for me to do a three-part series over 3 weeks, covering the topic of the Triple Gem. That is, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. For this, the first week, I am going to begin by discussing the Buddha. The very first and the most important thing to note in Buddhism is that the Buddha is not a god. He does not have divine power, nor is he to be worshipped like a deity. Instead, Buddhists pay respect to the Buddha as a teacher, for he was the first one to find the path to enlightenment and then share his knowledge of the path to help others attain nirvana. So the Buddha is the ultimate teacher. A little bit of backstory on the historical Buddha. 1. Siddhartha Gautama. Siddhartha was born in Lumbini, what is now modern-day Nepal, to King Suddhodana, the leader of the Shakya clan, and his wives Maya and Prajapati. Because King Suddhodana had two wives, Siddhartha essentially had two mothers. Maya was his biological mother. She gave birth to him but died shortly after. And Prajapati was the one who raised him, and subsequently became the very first Buddhist nun. When Siddhartha, the Shakyamuni Buddha, was born, a prophecy was made. It foretold that he would either become a great king or a great spiritual teacher. His father, preferring that he become a great king, confined him to the palace and raised him in a life of luxury so that Siddhartha would not be exposed to the suffering of the world. However, at 29 years old, Siddhartha still had not had any contact with the outside world, and grew curious. He asked a charioteer for a tour of the countryside. Here he came across the four passing sights. They were an old man, a sick man, a corpse, and a wandering ascetic. The Buddha was shocked and sickened by the realities of life, and returned to the luxuries of the palace for a time, where his wife gave birth to a son. The night that his son was born, Siddhartha shaved his head and left the palace, intent on finding an end to suffering. What follows was a long journey for him, in which he started by following famous teachers and learning all that he could from them. He still had questions, so he and the 5 disciples he had gathered along his journey set out on their own and tried renouncing all worldly possessions. They tried to end life's suffering by enduring pain, holding their breath, and fasting, but it was to no avail. Eventually, when Siddhartha began eating and considering the middle way, his 5 companions abandoned him, and he was left on his own. After a long period of time, he realized that enlightenment comes from disciplining the mind. He then famously sat down under the Bodhi tree to meditate, and undertook the great battle with Mara, which I will go into more detail about in a later video. However, the crux of it is that Siddhartha realized enlightenment after meditating under the Bodhi tree. The Buddha's first teaching was at Deer Park in Isipatana, where he rediscovered his old 5 companions and gave the fire sermon. The fire sermon, preserved as the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, focuses on the 4 noble truths and the Eightfold Path, which are both stepping stones on the way to achieving enlightenment. Most importantly, the Buddha chose to show people the path of practice rather than teaching abstract theories that people wouldn't understand. He chose to provide the path of practice so that people could realize their own enlightenment. So this is the story of the historical Buddha, the ultimate teacher, and the first of the Triple Gem, whom Buddhists honor and pay respect to but do not worship as a deity. Let me know in the comments if you liked this video, leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you want to witness the rest of this series covering the Triple Gem as it is released in the coming weeks. But for now, Suki Hotu, my friends, may you be well and happy, and may your week ahead be wonderful.